When you rent your place out to a tenant, the tenant doesn't become a slave or a servant to you. All that is a business. You pay and I give you service.
Hello and welcome to yen.com.gh. My name is Philip Abutiate, and if you've been following the news, you know that the issue of rent, landlords, and tenants has been in the news for some time now, or this week. Today, I've happened to get the opportunity to sit with Mr. Twum Ampofo. He is the chief rent manager here at the rent control department. We're going to have some interaction with him and have a discussion or a general discussion on issues bordering around rent in the country. And so before we bring you the conversation, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all our social media platforms. Also, if you have any question, any thoughts, or any experience to share, you can leave it in the stream, in the comment section below, and we'll be glad to read them. And so, Mr. Twum, good afternoon, and thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon. You're welcome.
All right. I hope you've heard about the recent Ofankor shooting incident.
Exactly so.
So could you give us the details? What details came to your attention?
It's rather unfortunate that this incident happened because the rent control have been in existence not less than 30 years now. So if one is living in this country particularly or living here with a policeman all around and doesn't know what to do, it's unfortunate that that incident has happened. In fact, when I heard it, I asked of myself, what kind of behavior is this? Even though if the person is still owing you, do you have the guts or do you still have the right to maybe shoot or that very person to death? So the question, but my understanding was all based on the tenancy agreement prepared between the parties. If I'm right, the question is who prepared the tenancy agreement? Did the tenant understood the content of the tenancy agreement at all? Because if agreement is signed, parties have to understand it. And even though the agreement is signed for parties to understand and one eventually defile the tenancy, the right channel to go is to the rent control or the police station. In fact, I'm always saying the police because they have been of help to us. People direct them to come here, or the police direct them, most of them, to come here, because they know the case of rent control is handled through the rent department.
What goes on here? What is rent control and what do you do?
No, rent control is a department set up by the state. In fact, our core mandate is to make sure to settle disputes between landlords and tenants. In actual sense, any matters relating to rent, the sense or the notion is that you come to rent control for resolution or the court. But we are here purposely for the landlords and the tenants. So that is our main core mandate. They filed a case of, abscondent. There is a case of assessment. There's another case of inducing tenant to quit, recovery of possession, refund of rent advance balance, and what have you. All such cases passes through rent control.
I want to find out what are some of the common cases, some of the common examples of cases that usually people bring on an everyday basis.
Yeah. Normally, what we are experiencing here is that people come out with their cases like recovery of possession. Two, that means that I want my room back. Two, maybe refund of rent advance balance or refund of advance paid to a landlord and landlord refused to give the room to the person or to the tenant. He has a right to file a case here. Then we make sure the landlord is compelled to refund the money to the such tenant. We also look at those who need assessment. The assessment means that rent payable per month. One want to know exact rent that you're supposed to pay per month, depending the area that the person is being located. But the question is, there are so many factors put together before assessment is made. The assessment is made based on maybe the facilities, the location, the bank overdraft pay annually, and so on and so forth. So if we are to say that rent or payable of rent may be the same, no, it cannot be the same. It's different from one region to another.
What is the procedure or the protocol involved in getting services from the rent control department?
In fact, we have the general office and those officers there who attend to clients. That's the friends for the front door or the front officers. They are there to attend to clients. If a client walk in and asks of any question based on the rent issue, it's a matter of maybe either advising the person. If the matter is not thoroughly for the rent, then we advise the person should take the matter to court. But if it's based on rent, then we give the chance for the person to file a case where parties will be invited for investigation. Thereafter, we can determine who is right and who is wrong.
What are some of the things that a landlord just doesn't have the right to do to somebody just by virtue of the fact that the person is your tenant or has rented a room for you?
Okay. Landlord, when you rent your place out to a tenant, the tenant doesn't become a slave or a servant to you. All that is a business. You pay and I give you service. As soon as the payment is done, the landlord have no right to maybe interfere into your or interfere your affairs. But then he has every right to maybe check or move into the room for inspection, maybe within 2 or twice within a year, to inspect whether the place is being habitable or not. If there is damages, then you have to come in to maybe repair. But there is a repairs that is going beyond the tenant. That is, excuse me to say, when the roof is leaking seriously, the tenant have no right to do it. It's you, the landlord, your duty to fix it. And if there is also some petty thing like maybe fixtures, for instance, the cable, the switch and what have you, that one tenant can do it. Tenants are supposed to clean the place or to make the place tidy all the time. Tenants have to pay his utility bills and other bills. I'm talking about if there is a water bill, telephone bills, and you are using, you have to pay. You have to pay your electricity bill in time. Electricity is not paid only by the tenant when the meter is only maybe 1 meter in the house. It's shared among the tenants and the landlord, and they all pay the money. So that is how they do.
Another issue, when I was preparing for this interview, that came to our attention was the fact that landlords usually demand for advance payments when people want to rent from them. And I understand, as per the law, it is not acceptable. Could you clarify this issue for us? Is it acceptable for landlords to take advance payments?
With regard to this kind of rent advance and what have you, the law stated clearly that one have to pay rent advance from 1 month to 3 months. If it's a residential accommodation, but this is for commercial purpose, that is supposed to be from 1 month to 6 months. That is what the act is saying. But you know, people have been taking money 2 years, 3 years. We are well noted. But then, before they will come to the office or they will come to the department to complain, you could have seen that it left with about a month for the person to move out, whereby he said, I paid advance and this. We cannot, excuse me to say, we, the department, cannot go out and say, have you paid advance to your landlord or whatever. But we are saying that anybody who is actually facing that problem, the office is open. You come in. More serious note, when your first contract elapse and one still demand in advance, I don't think it's logic. So when it happens like that, you come in to tell the rent control that this man is saying that after my contract of these 2 years, I have to pay more advance, and you ask. At times they forget of themselves by pronouncing, I want you to pay 2 years in addition. Maybe this time you have to pay 50 cedis instead of 40 cedis. Before you can get the vivid evidence, you allow the landlord to put it in writing. Because when you come to me and tell me the landlord is saying you should pay 2 years, and the landlord comes to deny that, the fact is very loose. See, you can't get the crew well. So the only problem is that it is a negotiation between parties. Oh, good, my landlord, yeah, it's true, I have to pay money. But to me, I thought maybe, or I think I have to pay monthly. But if you are saying this, or month to 6 months, as the law required, but if you are saying I have to pay more than this thing, can you please give me short notes for me to maybe give it out to some? You see, you have to be fast. You see, the accommodation deficit or the housing deficit in this country also have increased or have added another problem to this kind of business. See, people are migrating from other regions, other countries, and coming to work here. And you know, some of them are fully a company bringing an employee here to work. He may find a suitable, you know, it's a money aspect. People who patronize it to take money which may certify them. But the question is, we are not saying don't take the money, but make sure you just go by the rule.
On what grounds can a landlord or a landlady evict a tenant?
Oh, a landlady or a landlord can evict a tenant based on one, called something nuisance. When you talk about nuisance, using the premises for immoral or whatever, this thing you don't. We have the immoral purpose, nuisance, maybe playing music at night where everybody is asleep. You think you are thank God, therefore, bang, 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 you just play music till they break. Any tenant who complains is under fire. The landlord, you don't have respect to the landlord because you think you have paid. 2, if you are not trying to pay your bills in time, if you default payment of rent within a month, the law stated clearly, section 17A, you don't have the right to stay there. You see, so and it's a whole lot, and using the premises for immoral purpose. You know, you see, you are turning the place to a prostitute room or a hotel. We are here before we realize, they will come in tomorrow, they will go the next day, another man, another day, and that very day, we have a particular place to do that. You just find a hotel and you do your own thing. But you can't say, I have my money and I have rented the place, so whatever I want to do is what I mean to do. It's wrong. We don't do that.
And can a tenant also just get up and say, I'm leaving today, so give me my money as a landlady? Or there's a time frame?
You can do so. But you see, I'm so stressed on the tenancy agreement. Okay. The tenancy agreement, I have never, though I've seen people preparing tenancy agreement. If you want to move, inform me 3 months before you move. And where from that agreement? Because if you are trying to abide the rules and regulations of the act, it means that you have to take 6 months or 3 to 6 months rent advance. So suppose that the person have stayed there for the next 3 months and the next 4 months, 5 months is moving. Are you to refund any money? No, even supposed to pay you the rest or the rent. But you know for sure that you've gone contrary to the act. And the person decide to go, so give me my money, so you have to give me 3 months. To me, it is not ideal. It is not ideal because we will be working all over. You are working here today, tomorrow you go to work, and your manager will give you a letter that you've been transferred. Has your landlord, has he transferred you? Have you have any quarrel with him? So does it mean that you should go and leave your money? Wherever you are going to, aren't you going to rent? That is the problem. So you see, our forefathers knew all these things before they prepared the tenancy agreement. However, people are trying to develop it. We are not saying no, because world is moving forward. It's becoming global, this thing. We need to sit down to make sure we all come out with standard tenancy agreement, so that the standard tenancy agreement will compare our sister countries. And those who are very weak here, we just redevelop it. You see, when we do that, it will be able to capture all those angles that we think is very blurred.
Well, so that has been an interaction with Mr. Twum Ampofo. He is the chief rent manager here at the rent control department. We've had a conversation with him. You've heard from him. If you have an experience to share, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. I must say that there are some very good landlords and landladies, because right here on this platform, we've interviewed a landlady who decided to just take off the rent payments from the tenants because of the COVID-19 and the lockdown issues. And this is an example of a very good landlady. I want to give her a shout out. This is Yen TV, and my name is Philip Abutiate. I'll come your way again with another edition of the show. But until then, remember to visit our channels and keep interacting with us.